character in playing, and I think he's played an effective role for Aberdeen there. I think where Rangers have let themselves down a little is bypassing Ray Wilkins little, who's been almost anonymous in that first half. I think if they start getting the ball to him, then that is their obvious man to spread the play around a little more. He's been excellent for them this season doing that, and I think that they've got to use him more in the second half. That way their midfield will be very much more effective.
Well, what about the Rangers' defence? It's looked a little bit shaky uncharacteristically. Terry Butcher, Richard Gough.
Well, if you lose a goal like that from a corner kick where you've got 3 defenders all going for the same ball, it is bound to spread a little bit of panic through there, and that can take a little while for the scars of that to disappear, particularly as Aberdeen are very good. Charlie Nicholas, he's lost his pace, Doogie, but he's very good at receiving the ball in a tight situation and making sure the defender can't get to it. And a defender likes that least of all. You like to have a clear path to the ball, or to be in a situation where you can get a foot in and stick it away, and Charlie, of course, spreads fear through any defence when he does that.
Interesting you should say he's lost his pace. I mean, normally we say that about players who are 5 or 6 years older than Charlie is.
Well, I think he's lived a lot in his young life for now.
Well put, James, well put, yeah. I mean, you're seriously suggesting that it is a fitness problem he's got?
No, I think it's more a sharpness problem. There was a case earlier on there where the ball came across goal. It was slightly above knee height, and Charlie didn't quite get his foot up quick enough. Now, Charlie Nicholas 5-6 years ago would have reacted very much quicker to pull that down, chest it down, and do something from it. I think that is something that he won't get back again. But he's still a very effective player when he gets time, when the ball is knocked up to him, and of course, because he is so good at that, he's very good value for Aberdeen. He controls the game at that point, and they've got to use him a little more in the second half. They've tended to try and use Hewitt and Dodds to exclusion of him.
Another incident coming up, which was in fact a close thing at the Aberdeen end. Kevin Drinko causing a little discomfiture on that right wing.
Stevens with time to bring that down. Drinko, beautiful move. He tries to put it in and the two of them miss it.
Yeah, good one-handed save in the end by Snellers, but I don't know, was it you, Alan, that actually was a little bit critical of the keeper for his positioning there?
Well, no, at the time watching it, when it happened, I felt that perhaps he should have been on his feet and made a despairing dive down to the ground and palmed it away. I mean, there should have been a Rangers player effectively standing by to take advantage of that slip, but as it turned out, he got away with it and the ball was cleared effectively. The point I was going to make that you asked Jim there just earlier on about that was, I think the Gough-Butcher partnership, if I can make a comment on that, is one of the most overrated central partnerships in Scotland. I do not think they gel at all, and I think the goal that came there for Aberdeen proves my point.
That's interesting. You're certainly making friends and enemies in equal numbers today, Alan. In the sense that they're similar kinds of players, I presume you mean?
Well, I think Gough is, considering the price that Rangers paid for him, is certainly not a worthwhile central defender, and should be playing it right back, if anywhere, in a Rangers team. I also am of the opinion that Butcher is not back to full match fitness. I don't think he's the same player he was before he broke his leg, and I doubt very much whether he ever will be.
Jim, any comments on...
Well, I said before the game that I don't think that's as effective a pairing as McLeish and Miller, where you have an obvious sweeper or libero, as opposed to Butcher and Gough tending to play side by side. I think that's less effective. But for me, Richard Gough is a central defender. He does not like the right back position.
OK, well, let's see how things transpire in the second half. Certainly food for thought there. Maybe we'll get evidence either for or against Alan Ferguson's case in the second half. Nicely poised at 1 each. Let's go back outside for the second half of the Skull Cup final and rejoin Archie McPherson and Ali MacLeod.
Aberdeen the first side out, and they certainly ended that first half on a very high note indeed. Silenced the Rangers support, who had been very buoyant early on. And Ali MacLeod, question marks about Rangers' central defence made there.
Yes, I agree with Jim Craig that I don't think two stoppers is the ideal central defence. I think that's what's wrong with British football at the moment. They would think the centre half should be two six-footers who win the ball, when in fact I believe that the two centre halves should be ball players. But I wouldn't agree with Alan Ferguson that there are underrated central defence. I think Rangers' defensive record speaks for itself.
The massive throng at Hampden Park about to see the start of the second half. game, as Ali McLeod said, the first 15 minutes had an air of unreality about it, a kind of not wishing to touch anybody, and now that's all changed, and that is a superb ball to Ali McCoy. Here's Cooper. Drinkle. Well underneath that. Kevin Drinkle, one of the few players on the park, as I said at the start, not in possession of a winner's medal, or a medal of any kind. There's Groff. Walter's gone back to the right wing position. Stevens is there, but so also is the Rangers goalkeeper. I think the Rangers goalkeeper was as much to blame for that Aberdeen goal as anybody standing in front of him, to be honest.
Yes, neither keepers actually had a save. They've both had one or two drastic mistakes, but I'm sure Woods will blame himself for that goal.
Now Walters. Robertson with him, he does get his cross in again. And offside that time. It's been a hard match between these two. Alec McLeish, Kevin Drinkle. Bit of explanation between McKimmie and Willie Miller, and I'm sure that McKimmie will soak up anything that Willie has to say to him. Goff breaking. Here's John Brown. That's not a bad ball. Look at the way that Miller took that superbly again. The most difficult ball for the defender to get to. I really have, through the years, run out of praise for this man. But I don't think I overdo it, frankly.
Well, the amazing thing, Archie, he's not fast, he's not a good kicker of the ball, he's not a good header of the ball in the air, but he's still a great player.
Well, that's beautifully round. There's Drinkle, and that's a corner. That was a neat piece of play indeed by McCoist and Drinkle. And I really think that's the first time in the game we've seen any combined move between them. He's playing a little bit of composed football, and it almost came off. Walters with a corner. No real challenge to Theo Snelders, who can only grow in confidence in this game. He was very nervous early on. Cooper, Drinkle. Goff not quite there. Stevens. Nicely played by Aberdeen in that tight position. And Goff picks up, and I think Goff has the appetite to come forward now. Here's a man who is really supposed to make Rangers kick. Wilkins hasn't quite done that. That has been a long way short of the anticipated form. Cooper. Here's Brown. There's Drinkle. Brown's inside. Ali McCoist is there. He tries to touch it round. Little bit of curl would have done. Didn't quite come off. Clever effort this by Ali McCoist, Ali.
Yes. Yes, he's the one that could turn the game. I would like to see Rangers switch Wilkins and Cooper if I was the Rangers manager. and put the hard man onto the hard man and the skillful man onto Bet. And I think Wilkins would operate then with far more control than he's doing.
Well, Mark Walters thrown to the ground there. I think he perhaps put too much work in the ball to start off with, but he gets the free kick now. John Brown. Wilkins. Poised. Almost gets it, and nobody following up for Rangers. And they're starting the second half the way they played that opening phase in the first. Really going at Aberdeen, playing some very good football.
Possibly the Aberdeen team talk at half-time is to get through the opening 10 minutes, get their confidence and then come.
That's a very clever throw by Ferguson. Wilkins. And Walters didn't start his run for some odd reason. Very slow taking off indeed. I thought that was a clever intention of Wilkins, suddenly switching the play like that. Goff strongly in. Walters will be marked very tightly again. Two men with him. Aberdeen almost Walters conscious, realising the great potential of this player. Said no freedom. Ferguson. Pure slip. Well, I think John Hewitt was probably looking upfield for somebody. Took his eye right off that ball. I think Rangers will get a free kick for that. 7 minutes of the second half gone. Butcher goes up for this as well. And there's Goff, and I don't think anybody touched it at all. But Richard Goff, I think, will be coming forward more and more in this game, and whatever position he does play, he has scored many a fine goal in the opponent's penalty area through his career. Haven't really seen all that much of Aberdeen so far, with about 8 minutes gone. I thought Gary Stevens has been very unsure of himself today, Ali.
Yes, he's normally one of the players who you would expect to be coming down and linking up with Walters, but he's kicked more balls out the park, and I'm a high regard for Stevens. I think he's a tremendous player normally, but today he's been very disappointing.
Here's Cooper. Played it round well, although I think Ferguson was screaming for the ball initially. Stevens. There's Drinko. Very good move by Rangers. They switched directions, and Stevens' ball wasn't all that far away from meeting Drinko flush on the forehead. Good jumping. He did as well as he possibly could. He was really pressurized. Butcher tries to find Walters. Here's Ferguson. To McCoy. Seeing a lot more of Rangers now.
I think one of the problems for Rangers is that the left side of the field is non-existent. It's only when Walters moves over do we get anything from it at all. Earlier on, John Brown was attacking, but at the moment there's no one operating this left side, and Aberdeen have an out. Every time they get the ball, they can give it to McKimmie.
Throw to Aberdeen. Alec McLeish in the wars. Only sudden death will stop him from taking any further part. There's Stevens to Walters. Well, the one thing, Walters hasn't really got going except for that burst early in the first half, but he is at least absorbing defenders. They're having to go across to him. And Ferguson was a brilliant goal. Two-one for Rangers. And the man who cost £1 million to bring to Rangers, showing a little bit of the quality that attracted Souness and others in the first place. Absolutely no chance for Theo Snelders to save this one. A very awkward ball to take, Ali.
An opportunist goal. That's what it's all about. It's a tremendous goal.
And that pressure that Rangers put on earlier has paid off. It's been a very unusual game. It's fluctuated according to the goals scored. Rangers very good until they scored with a penalty. Aberdeen coming back, and now Rangers in the lead again, to the delight of this huge throng of red, white and blue. McKimmie attacking. Could Aberdeen get in right away? No, they can't. Richard Goff comes clear. And Goff, look at this, Aberdeen. Stevens, they were wide open down the middle. Now Walters. Whoa! You knew he was going to let fly with that. And one wonders about Walters if he begins to flourish as a player when the pressure goes off his side, Ali.
Yes, I think what's happened, again, Aberdeen there started to throw all their men forward and has given more room to Walter. I think when early on in the game, when Aberdeen had 9 men back, there wasn't much room. But as you say, the longer the game goes and Rangers get better, Walters will flourish all right.
By Ferguson, now Walters again. Beautiful ball to the outside. Stevens. Brown. That's Brown. And through to McCoist. And it's not far away. Well, that might have swerved in at the last second because Snelders looked extremely casual about what was going to happen there. Watch him. And he turned and oh no, the stanchion at the back. Well over. Goff is up. Miller. Brown. Well, actually, I think Brown made a meal of that. If he'd stood where he was, the ball would have fallen off his chest to his feet.
I think the wind sprung up quite considerably.
Not half, on the
Rangers.
commentary notes are away.
And Rangers half. Two Rangers.
Here's Stewart. Brown is up there and quite happy to concede a corner. Which lifts the Aberdeen supporters again. Vital for them to strike back as quickly as they did in the first half. Jim Bett. Oliver Croyce is in, and Walters is on his own. That will be a free kick. They were quite right to challenge for the ball, and Willie Miller ought not really to be taking on the referee. Drinkel and McCoy's going for that. There was no shouting. Simpson. Ferguson. Butcher with his wrong foot. Walters. Free kick. With just over 15 minutes of the second half gone, Rangers leading by 2 goals to 1. We're around the outside to get Drinkel again, but there's too much in that. Well, these players who were so valuable and productive for Aberdeen in the first half in midfield, corner, Bet, and Hewitt coming back deep, they've really got to position again, Ali.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to start getting more players up the field.
Here's Ali McCoy for 1 against 1. Beautifully tackled again. There's McCoy's, and the Aberdeen defence really are on the rack now.
Rangers are putting more effort into it now and starting to win all the tackles. Aberdeen are just getting brushed aside.
Here's Brown. It's McLeish. Charlie Nicholas did that brilliantly. Here's Bet. There's Dodds, and that's in the equaliser. A brilliant goal by Dodds. A superb run by Bet. What an amazing match this is! Oh, brilliant run here by Bet. Look at that ball, and David Dodds as handy as ever. Dodds managing to get himself out of cover, and Woods left stranded. 2 each. Bet's value on it.
Oh, Bet to me is the outstanding player for Aberdeen, but the picking up of the Rangers defence between the goalkeeper and the right back and centre half was terrible.
Aberdeen fighting back as he did in that first half and indicating this game was far from over.
You feel if Aberdeen had played that way throughout, they could have won the game quite comfortably. It's every time they go down, they start playing.
Towering ball by Woods. And backing into Robertson, into McKimmie rather. Ringing. There's Stevens. Ferguson to Walters. And there's nobody there for Rangers. Would you believe? A superb run, a beautifully flighted cross, and the 2 strikers got in too far.
There's neither team now get a tendency going from end to end.
And he's been caught much too easily now, Aberdeen Fashioning down there, and Wilkins. Here's McLeish. Walters. Ferguson. Just a bit too obvious. And that, I think, had just gone over. Exactly 20 minutes gone, 2 each. Ian Ferguson, the scorer of that second Rangers goal. An impressive view of Hampden Park. They're just at the top of that picture, underneath the press box. Cooper. Sort of lull on the game at the moment. As if they're each taking a deep breath.
It's a brave man at forecast the winner now.
Here's Cooper on a drive, a little bit short with that. Aberdeen.